Hey guys, welcome to ANX Gamecast, level 136. I'm Unbiased Ann, and I'm here with Ray and Genesis. How's it going, guys?
What are you laughing at?
I'm trying not to laugh, man, because I know what just happened and transpired.
Man, ain't nothing happened.
I said it
was
backwards.
Funny. It was funny.
Oh,
What?
I think he was talking about before.
No, I was talking about before we started.
I did a little switcheroo, and I didn't do I flipped the names.
I knew you were going to do that. That's why I got this. Yeah. Just so everybody knows.
Oh, that looks nice. I didn't even see it over there.
And so,
Genesis.
you know, it's okay.
And it matches you.
Yeah, it matches me today.
What should be said is like, Sega. No, I just tried.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about that maybe on the next episode, where I got it, where it came from.
Really early ass teaser.
Yeah. What happened, how it got here, all that kind of good stuff.
All right, well, what are y'all excited to talk about?
The events before the show.
But we're not talking about that. So I'm going to go with Dragon Ball Z in 2023. Dragon Ball Z. I'm ready.
Okay.
What about you?
It's got to be the round 2 there, right?
Conversation. Well, talking about teaser, like a late. That's a late teaser.
That's an early teaser.
I mean, they can't see it, but it's right there.
Right there.
And it's right there. We could talk about that a little bit too.
Okay.
But you still haven't teased it.
No, then that's the tease.
What you got?
I'm gonna say Dragon Ball Z too. Dragon Ball Z also.
Dragon Ball Z also. Yeah. So I think this is
We're
where
named for a sequel.
Yeah. I used to say stuff right here. I used to promote stuff, but now it's just like,
Round 1.
social media. And
Well, we started not doing certain things. All of us.
yeah, the YouTube channel. Anyway, let's talk about the anime that we're currently watching.
Who's first?
Me.
There you go.
Me.
You sure you're ready for this this whole thing today?
What's that?
Casting spells or pods.
Hold on.
Huh?
Huh? I don't know.
Hold on.
What?
I don't know what you talk.
It's
I don't.
all right.
What that lady say? Was watching Big Bang. He was trying to buy that gift.
Oh yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. You're making me feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah, so that's what's going on right now. Anyway, anime that we're currently watching. I'm currently watching. I'm done with the Kakegurui, and now I'm on to Record of Ragnarok.
How is it?
It is not great, but anybody who watches it will tell you that it's really good. It is. Have you heard of it? Do you know anything about it?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
I've seen the name come up. I haven't really had a strong desire to look at it or for it.
Yeah, this is season 2 that I'm watching. So I did watch season 1. Again, this is, fourth wall. I don't have it on Fake Tana. For some reason, Netflix is the only thing that comes in smooth and clear on the treadmill. So therefore,
That's what he watches.
this is what I'm watching. Anime on Netflix. There's a reason behind the madness. So I'm going to forget a lot of the names, but this is but the basic story is the gods came together and was like, it's time to kill all the humans. Enough of them.
God, they need to step on that.
And then they were just like, oh, well, instead of just killing them, maybe we give them a chance to stay alive, right? Let's do a tournament. And if they can beat us in a tournament, then they can stay alive.
What in the Mortal Kombat are you watching?
So the only thing that's cool about it is that you have people like, who was it? Jack the Ripper, right?
Okay.
Versus Hercules. You got that kind of stuff going on. Now, the humans have a boosted power because they're working with the Valkyries, and they turn the Valkyrie into a weapon of choice with powers of gods for the humans to use.
Yeah,
So that's how they keep it even,
I gotta
right?
be honest, when you were doing this, they turned it into, and you're doing all that, I was like, what, like a snack?
It could be a snack. They could turn it into whatever they want to. So you have who are the other humans? You have like Adam and Eve, right? Lubu.
Blue Boo.
Blue Boo. I mean, got this kind of stuff going on. So yeah, you got all these noteworthy humans from all these different lores and gods from different lores and
From different lords.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you got your normal, you got your Zeus, you got your you got old, you got
The OGs.
Shiva and Buddha.
Buddha.
Yeah.
Some Zen, some calm.
Yeah.
Down with that.
So is it good? Again, we talked about this on the last episode. Netflix is producing anime, produced by Americans for Americans, drawn by Japanese people, right? The whole concept, right? So it is a little bit of story straight into the fights. So you said you didn't like Dragon Ball Z before because it was too much fight. Like this is like
nonstop.
That little bit of the story that I gave you, that's all the story. Once the fighting starts, they'll tend to give you a back story of the character or the god or whoever.
So basically, it's the fight cards. That's the story. Whatever's on the fight card at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just want to, if you're interested in these two characters fighting, that's what you're gonna get for 1 or 2 episodes.
Shit, I'm sold on it. I don't want to watch this.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
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 Sounds like a good way to torture somebody. Yeah.
Well, we can move on then.
Potential way.
Whose is this one?
Unbiased down.
That's mine.
Ooh, that's a whole lot going on in one picture. That's like 3 sagas in a movie. What have you been doing?
So who's that blue guy?
You tell me. This is
Beast from X-Men.
This is your show.
I don't know who that is.
Spice Boys.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, yes, things have gotten good. So, finished the Garlic Jr. saga.
Okay. And the Spice Boys. Don't forget about the Spice Boys.
Garlic Jr. and the Spice Boys.
Okay.
And then, hold on.
Oh,
I had this yesterday. I know.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is the first time we had a conversation about this ever.
No, but I was trying to remember all the sagas that I've seen because everything kind of blends together. Well, so I am in the Trunks saga now, basically. No. I finished the Trunks saga.
It's on the screen in order.
Okay, and now I'm in the Android saga. So.
That's not Kung Fu Panda?
No.
That's not Poe?
So y'all know, I mean, if anybody's listened to me before on about Dragon Ball Z, I really don't like the show. I haven't liked the show so far. I like the filler episodes because I like the characters, but I don't like watching 35 episodes of one fight.
That's never happened, but okay.
Well, whatever. It just, everything blended together.
But it's down from the 60 that you said last time.
Okay, well, whatever.
So that's good. We're getting good. Getting close.
I'm just making the point that, like, you get through one episode, which granted is only like 20 minutes, but it's like you've only covered like 2 minutes of a fight. And so it's just like anyway. Now we get into this Trunks saga and I'm like, wait, I'm confused because I'm like, that's Trunks.
The Trunks saga or Android saga? Which one?
Okay, so I'm in the Android saga now.
Oh, okay.
But as I was watching the Trunks saga.
Since the last episode, she finished Garlic Jr.
Yeah.
Finished the Trunks saga, watched the History of Trunks movie,
Yep.
and is now episodes into the Android saga.
I've gotten some stuff done, okay?
I'm not arguing.
Yeah.
She's watched more anime than you.
Yeah, she has.
But my point is, once the Trunks saga started, and I watched Super already, so I already know the characters. So now I'm going back. So anyway, I see this guy and I'm like, that's Trunks. I'm confused, or I'm like, that's Trunks' dad because that looks exactly like Trunks.
Paw.
And nobody knows who he is, and everybody's a little confused. And he's real strong, and he takes care of Frieza. And then we went to he wouldn't tell me the name of the saga. And we went to Retropalooza.
Oh, so talk about teas.
Yeah, so we go to Oh, am I not supposed to mention that yet?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, so we go to
It's over.
Retropalooza, and we meet this Damien guy.
Damien Clark, I believe.
Damien Clark, who is... who is it?
Cell.
Cell, that's right. So I'm explaining to him, like, I'm just now watching the show. I'm way, way, way behind, right? And he's like, oh, well, where are you at or whatever? And he goes, Oh, we're in the Trunk Saga, and I was like, what? I knew it. I knew it because he wouldn't tell me, but he let it slip.
I wouldn't tell her.
That's mean.
Well,
I know, but he let it slip, and I was like, I knew it. I already knew
I
it.
wasn't talking to you though. I was talking to Damien.
Okay, but I'm standing right there. Anyway.
Yes, sir, officer. When you arrived, this is how I also found them.
Right. So anyway, it just got really good because then it's like, you know, I kind of figured out that he had time traveled and he's giving them all this information about what's going to happen and, you know, trying to change and it's funny. I said, they're going to change the future. And then he said it because, you know, Back to the Future, like you got to be careful because you know, when you start messing with the past, you're changing the future. Anyway, I'm just like, now this got good. That's why I've watched a lot. So my question to you.
I don't have a question button.
Spoiler alert.
But
so I was curious. Is there a point when you watched this originally?
okay, so hold on. Let me.
Back when you were in diapers.
24 years ago, I was watching what you're watching now. 23 years.
Yes.
Back in the day.
So
Kid, I'm not a kid anymore.
did you like it from the get-go, or was there a certain saga where you were like, where you feel like I feel now? You're like, okay.
Well, so now I got to go back even further.
Okay.
So I actually started watching Dragon Ball Z with what they call the Ocean dub, and this was back in 95, 96, something like that. It used to come on Saturday mornings after Sailor Moon or before Sailor Moon. I can't remember. 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday on some channel, right? Yep. So I would get up and I would watch it. So I liked it from that point. So what was coming on was Raditz, some of the Saiyan saga, things of that nature that I would get up and watch, right? So I was already like a fan before it even came out on Toonami. I was already a fan. But when it came out on Toonami, when I started watching it was probably the Ginyu saga, if I have to really think about it and remember it was. So I came in on the Ginyu saga.
Okay.
And so shortly after that, straight into the fight with Frieza, turned Super Saiyan. So I was good. So there was never any like turning point for me. Like I've been watching this since I was 10, 11.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I watched the first time I ever saw the art style. I think I was hooked. That and Sailor Moon versus what we had on our American cartoons.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I was just like, this is different and in some cases better, right? Especially stuff like if you just look at all the American cartoons that, you know. So I was hooked just based off the art style and the art style and animation versus, you know, watching The Simpsons every week on Sunday nights or whatever it came on.
I thought, yeah, it was Thursday or something.
I don't know.
Did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z? Trey?
No.
No.
Nope.
You never seen any of it?
No. I'm a rarity with that, and by the time I started catching wind of it, I didn't want to be that bandwagoner. So watched half an episode.
Okay.
Sure. But it never really grabbed my attention like certain things do.
Yeah.
So, you know, our generation was more of before then. It was the heavy metal generation, right? Which is where the art's coming from anyway, right? A lot of that style, but Dragon Ball Z, that I think I was probably just a little too old.
I was too.
For when it came out.
Yeah, I was too.
But I also appreciated the hell out of the Batman Adventures, just from an art perspective with their art deco and the fact that a lot of the animation was actually drawn on a black negative paper to create the look and style of it. So I was a fan at the time of that type of style. So
yeah,
you know, Dragon Ball Z didn't exactly appeal to me at that time, but later in life, just as you're going through and start to kind of feel like, okay, well, there's certain things like, I don't know, what's a good anime?
Something that you would have seen?
When They Cry.
Yeah, he wouldn't have seen When They Cry.
Yeah, actually, I have.
He ain't seen no When They Cry. Then when, look,
Twice.
then we need to do an update. Then was it the new When They Cry or the original?
How old do you think I am?
I don't know. I just got
So then it
audio
would be the
saying.
original.
I just got audio saying that you just said you were too
I'll
old.
seal it for Dragon Ball Z.
And there's a new one that just came out recently, like a remake.
I'm into it now because of my son. It's a father-son building type thing. So right now we're
I mean, if
Demon Slayer.
like
right?
if you're watching it just from graphics and things of that nature, then yeah, I mean, you can get My Hero, you can get Demon Slayers and
One Piece.
One Piece.
the art style on One Piece is just too weird for me.
But it's popular.
Yeah, so you can get quality art and animation from in pretty much any random anime nowadays.
My generation really was that Ghost in the Machine anime, right? That's also why I brought up Heavy Metal, because I was, as a kid watching that, I was blown away by it.
Heavy Metal 2000.
Heavy Metal 2000, not so much. Right? That was came out what, 99, 2001, somewhere around there.
Heavy Metal 2000.
But the original one back in the 80s, that blew my mind. I loved every minute of that.
1980.
Woo.
Just killing me, man.
Yeah.
He wasn't even
I
born.
wasn't even born yet, bro.
I wasn't born either.
Warren, hey, don't push it. You're closer to me.
I am.
So anyway, back to Dragon Ball Z, because now we somehow got on heavy
Because
metal.
I started asking questions.
From 1980s.
So anyway, it's okay. Yeah, I'm more excited about it right now.
Excited, ready to go.
Yeah.
You think you're gonna be able to finish? Because I think you still got like 200 episodes left.
Well, we'll see.
200.
That is exactly why, though, I have a hard time wanting to get into this. Even Cowboy Bebop, when that first came out, was not a 200 episode thing. I like these truncated ones where it's 13, it's 3 episodes, it's something to that effect. It's a movie. I like following that a little bit easier than a Pokemon who's been going on forever.
I think generally speaking, I like that 12 to 15 episode anime the best, probably.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
18 to 22 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, but the I've noticed though, when you start getting to the 18 to 24 episodes, it's like 9 times out of 10 there's like so many episodes where I'm just like, you could have cut all this out.
But that's not just for anime. I mean, that's true of television in general. I feel like once you cross 15, you're going to have filler episodes. You just are.
Well, but so I'll bring up one in particular that kind of went too long, was like Death Note. Like, it's not that it had fillers. It was just, let's see.
Spoiler alert.
After what happened to L, the series should have been over.
Yeah, agreed.
But it just kept going.
Agreed.
So it's just like that's what I mean. So not necessarily fillers, but now if there's an anime and you have the one filler, that's fine.
You
Like,
deal
it's
with
expected.
one. Yeah.
And usually it's some kind of all your favorite characters with no clothes on at the beach. It's that episode, right? For some reason, there's a zombie apocalypse, and just there's an episode right in the middle where they all go to the beach.
There's no clothes.
With no clothes, and
that's too
fan service.
That's absolutely appealing to a different demographic.
Yeah, and then they get back to the zombies. So anyway.
But you know what's interesting about that?
Let me go back. Okay.
Not to go off topic, but remember
we've been on it.
Well, yeah. Remember we saw that though when we would watch like Star Trek. You'd be going along and everything would have like a normal story, and all of a sudden this random filler episode where it was like,
but it was more apparent in the Voyagers and Deep Space Nines because there was one big story, as opposed to Next Generation and when it was TOS. Every episode was
different.
Could have been a filler episode.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, and usually, but even then with Next Generation, your filler episode was usually Riker screwing somebody.
Yeah, I was just about to say
that was the filler episode.
Yeah,
did he write it and directed it too?
Yeah, he probably did, knowing Jonathan Frakes.
Didn't they make a joke about that in one of the movies?
They might have.
Like, he was just in the tub with Deanna Troi. Bubble bath for like no apparent reason.
Right.
And it was something he directed.
It was like they wanted the Prestige with Picard, but they wanted the whore from Kirk. So they're like, well, we can't give him the major role, but we can give him the runner up. and we just whenever we need to have someone screwing on set, that'll be number one.
Yeah.
You know, that's your Riker episode. So, and you usually got anywhere between 1 to 3 of those a season.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway.
Sounds about right. All right, Ray.
All right, so
Raymond.
Update.
done with this latest one, which was the Swordsmith arc. Again, I think I even said this on the last one. Love it. Love this whole thing, and had the transition. I Transition.
You almost said something else.
know.
Woo!
The transition
Not that show,
of
man.
how this is going on.
Not Joe Rogan, bro.
Let me tell you what I don't like about vaccine. Kidding.
Jesus.
We don't care. It's good. It's good. The next ones that we're getting, from what I understand, it's only going to be 3 or 4 episodes long, as we just got through talking about. It'll be much more of a movie style, and I think that's how they're going to go through with their last few arcs, is what they're saying. I think my only...
Now, do you know this? Do you know the answer to this question?
Let's find out.
Is the manga over?
Yes.
Like over?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Unlike Bleach. Like Bleach went off the air, but they were still writing the manga.
No. They're done. They're done. If they have anything, they're usually filler in between books now. So I think it's... Man, I'm going to get this wrong. It's 23 on the volume, 25 total, and that's probably still growing because, again, they're doing spinoffs or they're going back and kind of touching up on some stuff, but nothing new is transpiring as far as the original storyline. So I am happy about that this will wrap.
Okay.
So.
All right. And before we got some props for the next, no, not this next round, but the round after. But I have another prop here.
Okay.
Merry Christmas, bro.
What is this? This is Batman.
Batman. I am Batman.
It's Batman Beyond.
It has nothing to do with this episode. It probably would have been better last episode, but we had other props last episode
We did have other props
in the
last
form of
episode.
pops. So there you go.
This is gonna go home. This is gonna go on a shelf.
So
I'm a huge Batman Beyond fan because
yeah,
because they actually did a great storyline.
Did you
on
show the camera?
expanding them.
I
I did
can't-
show the camera.
Yeah, he showed.
Okay.
Actually, you want me to show it again? There you
Yeah.
go. All right, look at that.
Funko Shop exclusive.
Look at
So here's what happened for real.
that. For real.
Wait, did you even finish saying why you're a big fan? You said because.
Yeah.
Because he said they did it.
So the storyline was such that again, I'm a sucker for good writing. I think all of us should be. But it was a natural transition between Bruce and Terry.
Mhm.
And the reason why Bruce stops being Batman, and a pickup to how Terry picks this up and kind of runs with it.
I'm Terry.
Probably some of the best Batman episodes came out of Batman Beyond. And, when you have the original cast from the Batman Adventures and they're all still going and playing their original selves on this next iteration of a future Batman, between Batman Beyond and Spider-Man 2099, those were always favorite characters of mine. So,
All right.
So
Yeah,
what
okay.
happened? What you about to say?
Oh,
how did it come about?
so
Thank you again, by the way.
It obviously it's Batman Beyond. So I was like, Ray likes that. That is the one. Okay, this is what happened. That's the one that had that chase where it was all clear, and I was like, I want to try to get that chase. Remember?
Mhm.
Then they canceled it from the company that was supposed to put it out because the company went out of business. So then it became a Funko Shop exclusive, and try to get the chase. But I could not remember if you had already sent me funds for it or not, or if I sent it back or not. So I was like, let me just get to.
Well,
So this may not even be a Christmas present. This might just be something
this
he
might
bought.
be something that I
That we
forgot
actually
about.
owe you.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're welcome.
Thank you to me.
So I know the other Batman Beyond. I know we're square on that one.
Yeah.
I don't remember on that one. It doesn't matter if we are or not. There it is.
I will gladly put it beside the other one. I need to get some protective boxes. I'm out. I'm running out. So.
If you're okay with the cheaper regular plastic ones, I have a whole bunch.
That's probably going to happen off air. Yeah.
Okay. Y'all ready for round two?
Yeah.
Round 2.
Round 2.
Another quote. It's
Is
not
it
it's-
time for this?
and it's not for me. Who wants to? Do you read the
No.
quote?
Can I read this quote?
Sure.
Okay. Xbox has lost the console wars, and its rivals are positioned to continue to dominate, including by leveraging exclusive content.
What that first sign? The first few.
Xbox has lost the console wars.
Xbox. I need some energy.
Genesis,
Xbox.
what have we talked about and have been talking about for the past 2 years?
I feel like the last random podcast that we did mentioned, and we had a whole conversation about the console wars at the time, which
Prior to the events of the hearings for Microsoft buying Activision.
Yeah.
So.
And that's where this quote came from. This is them. So this is not just a normal quote. This is not a tweet. This is testifying under oath.
This is Phil
to Congress.
Phil Spector saying we lost.
And just FYI, it's old news now.
It is.
We know it's old news now, but we still wanted to talk about it.
Steve Jobs said this?
No.
Phil Spector. Maybe Steve Jobs said it. Sure.
No, I didn't mean Steve Jobs. I meant
he probably did a long time ago.
What's his name?
Come on, you almost got it.
He knew.
I don't.
He is bespectacle.
You talking about Ballmer?
No. Yes. No.
Is that his name?
Yeah, you just compared him to the Unabomber. I love it.
Why can't
the
I remember
bomber.
his name?
Oh, okay.
Steve Ballmer.
Not
him either.
You're talking about
Microsoft.
the other. How many Steves were there?
One of the richest people ever in the world.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
No, this was obviously one of his
This is
representatives.
one of his lackeys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say lackey. I mean, look. Can I start?
Go ahead.
Okay. Xbox, let's start with this, is not a bad console.
No.
Agreed.
It's not.
Oh.
Did you hear that? She agreed.
It's not bad.
You in there?
There you go. The problem with Xbox is when you say, quote unquote, we've got exclusives just for Xbox, but then you make it available on PC platforms.
Yeah.
And you've got individuals like ourselves who we enjoy computer gaming as well.
I don't, but
But
I have all
systems.
the necessary everything to do it.
Correct.
Okay.
So if I've got an alien at the house,
Mexican?
illegal, extraterrestrial,
Mexican?
or laptop version,
Or Mexican.
yeah, I'm not going there. I'm probably going to enjoy my time with them.
The Mexican
more.
alien from space.
That's right.
Not the ones that come over the border, quote unquote. That's not what I'm talking
without
about.
papers.
Right. No, I'm talking about the big storyline.
So that only covers like 3/4 of my family. They're a different story.
Anyway.
So I can say that I'm 1/16.
Okay.
So the problem that I have though is that your stuff's not exclusive. And I think as we're finding out now, especially this past summer, is they know it's not exclusive. And yes, a computer gaming system's going to run you, a good, decent one's going to run you close to 1,000, usually over 1,000, usually over 1,500, 2,000.
Over 9,000.
Right?
Yeah, maybe not over 9,000, but.
But the problem is, though, is that if I have such a device, then I can play whatever Xbox is throwing out. I'm not saying that they don't have sometimes good exclusives. I am saying that their exclusives are not true exclusives. If Sony says we're doing an exclusive, you know what that means? That means you're going to play this on Sony. That's it. When Microsoft says we've got an exclusive coming in, Sony doesn't have it and Switch doesn't have it. Yeah, but I bet you my PC's going to have it. Oh, look at that. Starfield just came out. Oh, look at this. It's available on Steam.
So, I mean, that's just a situation when you have computer people trying to create consoles, home console gaming. You got into the console gaming market, but for some reason you still have computers on your brain.
Right.
Because that's what you do, right? Microsoft. That's what they're known for. If you're going to get into a console war, which is what they did from day one, you're in a console war. Your exclusives, so we're going to fast forward to now, present day, present time, since we're talking, old anime, he's talking about Lane here. At launch, Xbox Series X, Halo was supposed to be out with it. Not only did it not come out, but it was delayed for what, a year? And then when it finally came out, it was trash and nobody played it.
I was looking forward to Fable.
Okay.
Couldn't wait. That's the whole reason I got the Xbox One or the Xbox X. Sorry.
Series X, okay.
And
just for the record, day one purchasers.
that's right.
Day one.
That's right.
And when I say there's one over there, that's my empty box from the one that's in the living room. When I say there's one over there, we were supposed to do a giveaway, and it's still in the box, and we never did a giveaway.
Yep.
So
It's a problem. It's a problem, Xbox. Don't promise me content day one. Hell, I think with Fable it was even 6 months down, and we're coming out with this in 6 months, later, and it's still not out. Still no ETA on it, except for, well, it should be 2024. Well, you said that 2022, 2023, and now we're going to our third year. You have issues. I am just glad they finally said, yeah, we've got issues and we lost this thing. For those of you who are like, well, you don't play this, you don't play that. Look, I've got every system out there that's market compatible. You're talking Nintendo, you're talking Sony, you're talking Microsoft, Alienware, right? Like, I've got that. And unfortunately for Xbox, if my Alien can play it, and now my Steam Deck, why am I spending money on an Xbox to play Starfield when I can easily transfer it to my Alien or my Steam Deck?
yeah.
Right.
So I mean, so the other big thing that probably help kill the Xbox is the pass. You're talking about the pass. Not, I mean, you can get some of these games on Steam, but you can also get them free with your Ultimate Pass. Right? So I could just log in here on my computer with my account and get the brand new first party titles, and I can play them on the computer. I don't even need a system.
That's a problem. And that's your point too, right? That's just what you were just talking about. The fact that you go in as computer people and you made it readily available. No, go in as console people.
Right, because like, here's the deal. I think, and there's a lot of people who kind of have that mindset. Oh, nobody cares about the system. You can just play it on the PC. But like, there's still a bunch of people. There's still a bunch of people who can't afford a Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5. There's still a bunch of people out there that when it was announced, they saved up for a year or two so they could get it. Though these people don't have $2,000+ to go buy a PC so they can play these games on the PC. I'm sorry, that's just a ridiculous. Like, they have no concept, no grasp of what's going on in the real world. It's just like, yeah, you can go do that. Maybe I can do it, but for the majority of the people,
that's not an option.
That's not an option. So,
and you got to buy games.
Then you got to buy the games or pass, and then there's other things, and like, you got to buy a monitor. You got
to have internet,
and that's
right?
that's also well, but even okay, so you got to have internet for the new stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you're talking PS5 or Xbox X, you're gonna have the internet because you're gonna any online play, any updates, anything like that's gonna be done through there, or else you're playing day one version forever. Which there's no problem with that. I'm a huge fan of that. But when people ask me, hey, how's your Xbox? My first thing now is, well, my Series X is collecting dust at GameStop would be my assumption. Because I just came to the realization I had this machine for 2 years. 2 years. And we literally looked it up before we decided to get rid of it. It had a total playtime of 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
In 2 years. That's not me making that up. And the only reason it had that was because we got Flight Simulator. That's it.
So I think I have a little bit more than that. But once I got a hold of the PS5 controller, so that's the thing that's been happening with PlayStation. Like, the Xbox Series X, as far as hardware, is not bad, but Sony is just, making strides in every category. This controller for the PS5 is the best controller that I probably have ever used ever in life. Right. And I wish I had it. I don't have it with me. The controller with the Xbox Series X is trash. It feels cheap. It's like something you get at Dollar General. The Elite controller from the Xbox One era is a lot better. So I would actually tell people to go get that controller. But once they fix the controller, because the PlayStation controller was bad for a little bit because of the lawsuit with the PS3, blah, blah, blah. They came up with this other controller. It was trash, the 6-axis. It's just slowly been getting better. Once they updated that and I could play my first-person shooters with it, that was it. Like, I specifically had Xbox for FPS because of the controller. PS5, they changed the controller, made the controller better. That was it. So I'll probably have a few more hours because I played that first Call of Duty online on the Xbox, blah, 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 blah. But then quickly switched over to PS5, and I all my games now, FPS included, are PS5.
So going back to the controller, complete trash. I've never had a controller give out in under a year. And my daughter's her favorite Xbox controller that she took for her Alienware because again, no need if you've got an Alien. It's already broken. Like she called me the other day. She's like, "Hey, who's studying for this type of stuff to fix, right?" And she's like, "I can't get it working." She goes, "I think it burned out on one of the sensors or the motors." She goes, "And I think could be the motherboard." Again, hasn't even been a year, right? And she's not that's her cooldown time of maybe 30 minutes in a week because of college.
Yeah,
that she's playing that thing, and it's already busted. It's already busted.
So we only got one Xbox Series X fan here. So what you got to say?
okay, so I love Xbox, but I don't play games on it. I like it, to watch different apps and stuff. I like it better than PlayStation. I like the controller better than PlayStation. I just like how it feels, and I like the look and feel of Xbox.
So one of the things you always say is that you are familiar with everything about the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of my main issues with the Series X. The user interface was the same exact one that they at launch that they had on the Xbox One S or One X or whatever I have, Project Scorpio. So I was not happy about that.
Okay, that may be another reason. It's the same. It didn't change on me. This is how I saw it before. To me, it's just more intuitive than
no Apple update
PlayStation. Now, what I don't like is that you have to use a battery. Like there's no more charger.
And we talked about that before. The only reason they have batteries because they have a marketing deal with Duracell.
Yeah, I do not like that. That's really annoying.
Like that's crazy.
I'm split on that, and the reason I say that is because I don't have to wait to charge my controller. I mean, I've always got one on standby now. Like that's just yes, I know that's very pompous to say, but I have an extra controller on standby when I have just like a PS5 thing going. The one thing I could appreciate though was just being able to switch them out mid game.
But you can. They have cords long enough now though that you can.
They do. But it's so funny. Growing up, you didn't mind the cord at all, and now it's like, man, why am I being tethered to this
cords?
thing? Ugh. It's like, my God, someone's gonna trip over this shit.
So I think we mentioned this on the pod before, but there was a period of time. It's not happening currently, but there was a period of time where the only thing that the Xbox got used for was you watching Gilmore Girls in the mornings on the weekend. Do you remember this time period?
Even during the weekday.
Okay, whenever.
Yeah, but weekends. I would wake up early and lay on the couch and watch it.
So
it had nothing to do with the gameplay of a system that's supposed to perfect gameplay.
And I said this on social media in a group, and some ass was just saying I was calling me a liar. I even provided pictures. I provided pictures. So I'm gonna use the one that fuck you, bro. That's all.
There you go.
I can't remember why was he calling you a liar?
Because he's an Xbox stan.
No, I mean, but what was it though that he was saying? Like
I said that the only thing my Xbox gets used for is for Gilmore Girls, to stream Gilmore Girls in the mornings.
Yeah, once I got my Alienware, I was done. Like the Xbox, and again, there was no game I couldn't play on there that wasn't either provided by my PS5 or it was provided by the Alienware, and then eventually the Steam Deck. Again, Starfield, beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Haven't gotten to play the entirety. We're talking demo stuff here, but it runs great. But I don't need the Xbox for that crap. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
And one more thing, it's less about the Xbox itself, but it's more about what Microsoft is doing. It has somehow created a large population of people who now consider themselves hardcore gamers. The Xbox Game Pass has created a large, I'll say it again, clearer.
A grin.
the Xbox Game Pass has created a large group of people who now consider themselves hardcore gamers.
Can I raise my hand on that one?
Okay.
That's fantastic. You know what my laptop has? Access to the Gamer Pass.
Well, my thing is, I'm just looking at some of these people as kind of phony posers.
My thing is this.
It's like you're not like you have a glorified game rental pass and you play games. You play the limited games that Microsoft allows you to play. You don't buy anything. These people don't buy any games. They don't own. They don't have anything. They don't have a collection from before, yesteryear. They don't have. They don't have anything pre-ordered that's coming out. They only play what's on the Game Pass, and they look at themselves as hardcore gamers.
And can we talk about that for a second? For those of you who are doing a digital only setup, nothing wrong with that. I've got 2 things that operate right now in digital only. But you know what happens with digital only stuff if they decide that they don't have the right to that license anymore?
That's it.
That's it.
It's over.
You're not playing that anymore. Whereas if I've got hard copies, physical copies, I get to pop that in at any time I want.
Yeah.
So when people sit there and say, well, this is a wave, it's like, sure, but I don't think you understand how licensing works if that's the case. And one day you're going to pop that thing in, or you're going to go in to try to download it, and they're going to be like, sorry, we don't have it. And so whatever you just paid for that, it's irrelevant. It's gone.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't want the gaming community to grow, but don't categorize yourself as something. Don't portray yourself as something that you are not. You've been renting games for the past 2 or 3 years, and you think you're some kind of hardcore gamer, and it's to the point where you actually talk down and look down on other people that have been gaming longer than you.
Is this an old joke? Shut up.
So yeah, I just got a problem with those people. I got, and this is just about me, right? I have a problem when people start doing that in general, like the rap thing. I didn't have any problem with Lil Wayne running around being Lil Wayne until he said, "I'm the greatest rapper ever. I'm the greatest rapper alive." Whoa,
it's all Lil Jon, man.
Whoa. And then Kanye came out. I'm the best. Whoa.
Okay, but in Kanye's defense, his medicine wore off.
Yeah. So once you start making those claims, the best, greatest, hardcore, now I got to look at you in a different light. And I'm like, not really. Anyway, you got anything else on this?
No. I would go back to the point that when we first met and you would ask me a question about a certain system, the first thing I said was, I don't have that yet. Let me get some gameplay under me and we'll talk. Like, I wasn't trying to hide or pretend or be like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Never did that. It was like, don't have the system. Got the system now. Don't like the damn system.
Nope.
I have noticed with people that, not a lot, but some gamers are really either hardcore PlayStation or hardcore Xbox. They feel strongly about one.
I am like that with systems. Yeah. I'm not like that with brands.
And DC and Marvel. Tell me you're not like that with brands.
No.
Detective Comics?
Movies. Detective Comics. I still want that a Detective Comics sign. So yeah, no, like my thing is specifically what I'm saying is PS5 is better than Xbox Series X.
Yeah. 100%.
And it's not really close. Does that mean Xbox as a whole is not as good as Sony as a whole? I don't know, but the gap is starting to widen a little bit, like as a whole, like as a whole catalog, because you got the PlayStation, right? The regular PlayStation where Xbox didn't exist. So you got that whole thing, and then you got them pulling away here. Came out of their own mouth under oath. So,
and I think that was a big thing. It was like, we appreciate the support, but let's be realistic. We got to be honest with ourselves and our fans and everything else. We let y'all down. We're losing this, and you're not even losing to PS5 or Sony. You're losing to Nintendo as well.
Yeah, lose to Nintendo as well.
Which shouldn't be a direct comparison, but they made that comparison.
Yeah.
You know, even Sony tried to say, well, we don't really think it's fair if you guys are comparing them to Nintendo. This is a different type of brand. Sony comes out and says that because they understand, like, no one's really catching up with Nintendo because it is what it is. It's geared for a certain larger demographic, might I add, whereas when you have a Sony, it's dedicated to their fans. Xbox dedicated to their fans and you know, the computer community. But when your opponent, when your competitor is coming out in defense of you, you got a problem.
Yeah.
You have a problem.
Yeah. So anyway, so what they try to do now, buy up a bunch of IPs, as many as possible.
Yeah. And they'll start selling it back to Sony.
And promote crossplay, because that's the one thing that you can point out that Sony doesn't really like. Anyway, y'all ready for round 3?
Round 3.
Round 3.
What? Okay. So again, we're late. We know. We were going to review this when it first came out. We went and watched it. Blah blah blah. COVID. People got COVID.
Life.
But this just came out like a week or two ago. There we go. So it's still relevant. So basically, it just came out. You can watch it at the house if you have not seen it at the theater. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It was so nice. I had to buy it twice. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, nice. Fancy.
Yeah. Who wants to go first? You the comic book person, man.
You should go first.
Okay.
He's like, okay, I'll twist my arm.
I'm going to say, was disappointed in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. It's not what it was. Right. And I expected more of what I got last time. And I'm not saying that I didn't get that to a certain degree, but the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Well, that was Gwen anyway. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Was about Gwen and her life. And not only was it about Gwen and her life, but since it was about Gwen and her life, they took out certain things in the movie that I loved about the first movie.
Like what?
So the first movie, you start off with him walking to school with his J's on and his hoodie, right?
Yeah.
Listening to
good music.
Hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you start off with Gwen with her Chuck Taylors on or whatever she had on, going to band practice or whatever she was doing, and we're hearing rock music. So
Yeah.
it's not that I would have had a problem with that, but I was expecting more of my hip hop culture, because that's how they built the whole first movie, was hip hop, graffiti, right?
Yeah.
It was the music, it was the J's, it was like all that, and then just to start this movie like nah, this is different. It's like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing here. So from that perspective, now I don't want to say it was bad. I was just disappointed in it. I was just like, man.
And that carried through the whole movie for you.
No, but that was the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, you're right.
You see what I'm saying? There was a point in the movie where all of a sudden you show Miles, and then here comes the hip hop blasting. So I got a little bit of it, but like I said, I felt like the original movie, speaking of, the original one was mostly all of that. It was that for most of the time. It was all about him and his experience with his music and his J's. It was the whole thing.
I don't think you should say with his music, his J's, his this.
Well, she don't listen to
I
it.
think
Gwen don't listen to Biggie.
I think the whole thing is, we don't know that.
Well,
we don't know
clearly
that.
she didn't.
But we don't know.
She didn't have
we
no
don't know.
Biggie
They didn't have
up in her walls, the posters.
The issue I have with this, the issue that I have with your statement is it wasn't about a focus on that. It was about a focus on just who he was. That was his life. That didn't mean it was the point of the movie or the growth of the movie. It was just the thing that you focused on, because that's what you connected you with that movie.
Like it did connect me with that movie, but that was also what the movie was about.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't about that. It was about how he grew up, and yes, culture
grew up. Yeah,
culture very much so. But whenever you were going to have the sequel, it was always going to be about expanding on everything around it. When you have a movie that started with the name Into the Spider-Verse, it was good that they focused on him. But whenever you had him with Peter Parker, that wasn't, you weren't going through those same things. You then kind of flipped. I will say, when this movie started, I forgot we were watching a movie about Miles Morales.
Exactly.
That
so whatever you want to call that feeling that you had, That was my problem
Yeah.
with the movie.
But
I'm just explaining it in the way of, if it would have started off with hip hop music, I still would have associated it with this movie. And even if they were showing Gwen.
I still associated with that.
But
But you're talking about where, just like you focused on where Miles had come from, the whole point of that opening, the prologue for this movie was to focus on Gwen and where she comes
We'll
from.
call it Gwen then.
It's not.
She's not Spider-Man.
But she is one of the Spider people.
She's one of the Spider people, but the movie is called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Right. So you started
not the Gwen,
so
not
you
the
didn't-
Gwen story.
You didn't start in
Not Spider.
in Miles Morales.
What is she
you
called?
started across the Spider-Verse. That's exactly what you just said.
No.
Sure you did. It was just her Spider-Verse.
What's a Spider Gwen?
Spider Gwen.
Actually, it's Ghost Spider.
Whatever. It should have been called Ghost Spider Across the Spider-Verse.
You
It's
already have
called
it in the
Spider-Man.
title. You already have it in the title. It's across the
It's called
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man.
When you say
Just
across
saying.
the Spider-Verse, you are saying you can start at any point wherever that
No,
Spider-Verse may
when it
start.
says Across the Spider-Verse, that tells me they're going to show even more Spider-Men.
And did they do that?
Not
Did they do that?
No. Not that they were going to solely focus on one of them for 30 minutes.
You had the whole reason that you're focusing on a particular character is because that's that's part of the main protagonist and what she's going to be going through on this one, the same that Miles did with the first one.
No, she ended up,
It's
Spoiler alert.
she was a bad guy.
no, she wasn't.
Yeah, for most of the movie, she was a bad guy.
No,
Yeah,
no,
she
she-
was.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
If you want to talk
there was
about the
there was
antagonist, then go into
there was-
Spider-Man 2099.
There was a whole group of people, including her, trying to
She didn't want that for
capture,
him.
fight, capture, maybe even kill Miles Morales. How was she not the bad guy?
She did not do that. If you want to
No,
argue that,
she was a part of that
if
whole
you want
scene.
to argue that with
That whole-
Spider-Man 2099, she wasn't after him to capture him. She was already trying to
just wanted
find
to say
out-
hi.
No, she was trying to sit there and figure out how to help him because she
No,
realized
she was trying to talk him into going along with what the bad people were doing.
she was
so you were the
trying
bad guy.
to sit there and say you're getting your characters confused.
I'm
That
not.
was Spider-Man 2099.
No. He was the boss.
No,
he was the
Miguel
head, he
O'Hare-
was the head guy getting all these other Spider people. Go get him,
Yeah, absolutely.
capture him.
That's right.
He
but
can't
she
leave.
wasn't
And so she-
trying
you know
to
what she
capture
did?
him.
All right, you gotta come back, Miles.
Now-
Come back.
So well, yeah, but not to sit there and capture
To let him go. She was gonna.
We don't know. She never got.
was-
She never got
do you
there.
think she was gonna let him go? If she caught him, if she caught up with him.
I'm going to tell you why here in a second.
I don't know. I'm a little confused. Now I'm thinking I didn't quite understand the movie.
Because look at Hobie, Spider Punk. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? His whole thing was telling her, I'm not conforming to any system. I loved his character. His
Right.
was my favorite
But
character
now
of the
you're
movie.
talking about. I said for most of the movie she was a bad guy. You're talking about something that happened closer to the end.
You're thinking
with-
it's close to the end because it was a long ass movie, and it was
Right.
right.
So she was
But it
a bad
wasn't-
guy for most of the movie.
It wasn't the bad guy for most of the movie, and that's what Hobie was also trying to teach her.
Unbiased down.
So, all right, now I'm like, and now I'm just like, wait, what? Okay, so let's walk through this for a minute.
No, they
So
were
they-
running. They were chasing him.
So we had the little spot guy,
I got to do this again. All right.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
We had-
Which
Which really, I will tell you right now, is kind of a little bit of a throwaway antagonist.
yeah, a little comic relief for most.
I thought
For
it was-
most of the
Yeah.
movie was comic relief.
well, especially the introduction in the bodega or whatever.
Until he became
Yeah, then it was
the
like
major threat.
right,
Yeah.
but he was funny. It was funny at
Mhm.
first.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was upset because what? Some kind of thing turned him into that.
No.
Some
The reactor from the first one
uh-huh.
that they were messing with to see if they could even transverse the Spider-Verse, if you
Right.
will.
Oh, big words.
Look at that, man. He was caught up in that particle accelerator. So what happened with him is instead of getting bit by a magical spider,
It threw him.
part of him got hit with this, basically a portion of it that could allow him to transverse in between the spaces, in between spaces,
Mhm.
so to speak, right? So they gave a absolute D-rate character for Spider-Man and made him actually pretty freaking impressive, which is hard to do with this character because this character is goofy as hell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they did points to Sony for going and saying we can make him a A-level threat villain. Just wait.
And so
I just feel like the stuff like this is why I like animation because you can do whatever. I feel like even though D-Rate villain, right? However, those fight scenes, even the one in the convenience store, like so dope. Like I just don't think it would ever come across like that dope
in live action
in a comic book, right?
You mean in live action or comic
both?
books? Yeah.
Both, live action or comic book. Like that like it was that was a cool scene.
I'm not going to disagree with you on the fact of the fluid of the animation that would make it that way, but as being a longtime comic book reader, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think
I've never seen. I used to do comic books, not necessarily the Spider-Man and this.
You did comic books?
Yeah,
a little bit.
But I've never seen anything like that fight scene in a comic book. Where it jumped out at me like that, and it was super memorable and like nothing like that.
I would say Brian Hitch's run on Ultimate X-Men, which is where the MCU got a lot of their
stealing.
I'm saying stealing, they own the property, but a lot of stuff comes from that run, and he is very much a cinematic artist, Brian Hitch. But to your point, though, you're right. Like that's never going to be done in live action, and it does limit the ability to show it in a fluid motion when it's on paper, which is a fair
there's just way more small, nuanced, detailed things that you can do in the animation that you can't. I mean, unless you're gonna make the one fight scene 3 comic books long.
Well,
you see what I mean? Like the one small fight scene in the convenience store 3 comic books long, then maybe you can do it. But again, generally speaking, that's not what's happening.
You could do it for 10 pages. But if you're saying would it have the same effect visually, no. Because you're talking about something that's on the page, and having grown up with it and having been a student of art, like for me that's okay because I can see that and my imagination does the rest. But you're right, seeing that on the big screen or the small screen, there's something to it.
I think it's even more points for it being on the big screen versus how I'm used to an animated Spider-Man, which is on a tube TV because we're old.
So, meanwhile,
back at the Batcave,
right? Gwen is she gets found out by her father, right? And he thinks like that she murdered, or I guess she did, but it wasn't intentional or whatever. That she had accidentally killed whatever turned into a bug.
So, the theory is that she accidentally killed Peter in this timeline.
Right.
So,
okay.
He didn't become Spider-Man, but he was always beside her, and so the roles were reversed. And so when he accidentally died, her father thinks Ghost Spider is the reason that he died.
Right.
So he has it in for our lovable Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
So when he finds out that she is one and the same, then she starts on the run because not only is it her dad, he's chief of police.
Right.
Everybody running in this movie.
This when she joins this group. Right.
This is when she joins this group.
So, just remind me because it's been a minute. What is this group
still in the plastic, y'all? Still in the plastic.
To do? What is their purpose?
We saw this in the theater. This is still sealed.
So, the purpose of the group was just them trying to figure out. Basically, they're trying to stop what Marvel refers to as incursions because of Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange, Multitude of whatever. Multiverse of Madness.
Witch and
Scarlet
Multiverse
Witch
of Madness. Okay.
In fact, they even allude to the MCU twice.
Mm-hmm.
Once with the mention of don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and that punk kid.
Oh yeah.
From the universe, right? Mm-hmm. And you go by and you see the Prowler from Spider-Man.
The live action.
From the first movie.
And so this group is like.
Wait, hold on. Let's do it. We talked about this. What's his name?
Don Glover.
Nah. Childish Gambino.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's make sure we shout out.
This group is trying to change history.
This
right?
group is trying to keep history as it is. They don't want to. It's not that they're changing history. They're trying to fix any problems that might arise because people are. They want it to run correctly.
This would have been an easier conversation to have probably once we watch Loki season 2, which starts
October 5th.
Next month.
in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, there you go.
So now he though is trying to change it because if he doesn't change it, his dad dies.
Which he doesn't know until they find out.
He doesn't know.
Right.
He doesn't know he's changing it though, right?
He doesn't know that he changed it. And in
Right.
reality, the thing that Miguel O'Hare, who is Spider-Man 2099, gets wrong is it was never his fault. He's dealing with the consequences that really started from Wilson Fisk trying to open up to find a universe where his wife and son are alive.
Mm-hmm.
So it had nothing to do with him, but he gets pulled into it. And what they go on to say is if he wasn't bitten, then he never would have been that Spider-Man, and Peter Parker of that universe, of the Miles Morales universe, does live. This is where I love Miles Morales and where they went to go with this movie about the fact of the difference between fate being chosen for you and you being able to choose your fate. That entire storyline, once they start coming out with the
Dr.
fact
Fate?
that not Dr. Fate, that's Detective Comics, but being able to choose your own path and not letting people determine what it's for you. I just fell in love with that entire concept.
Not just people, all the spider people, including Gwen, punk ass.
Gwen wasn't the traitor.
I'm just saying.
She did not do herself any favors.
There was only
either.
one person there that wasn't a traitor, and that was the girl who ran the
Hobie, Spider-Punk.
Right.
He's the one that
no. The girl who ran the teleporter, the machine, and she knew, and she was like,
she
"All right,
knew.
go on, get up out of here, bro."
She knew, but at the same
and she
time,
let him
though,
go.
so did Hobie. Hobie knew that,
But he wasn't a part of the group anymore.
Well,
He
Hobie
left.
never, but because
He was
Hobie,
like-
Hobie knew what they were going to do, and Hobie sat there and said, "I don't want to be a part of this." But at the same time, he left.
He left. He was gone.
When you look through the movie, this is what I love about the people who
It's
are
in the
doing
plastic.
this movie.
I ain't even seen this movie.
So high. What I loved about it though was if you look at Hobie, he's always stealing stuff when he's on camera. He's always taking bits and parts
That's racist as hell.
to complete
That's racist
this
as hell.
other transporter. Once he knows that Miguel O'Hare is going to take it from Gwen, he finds a way to provide her with getting around to help Miles. So for me, it was a really cool thing. That's why when people would ask, they're like, well, who is your favorite character of it? Hands down is Hobie. Hobie doesn't care about your agenda. Hobie doesn't care about what you're supposed to do. He's like a true anarchist. And more importantly, though, when he knows something is right, he's going to help. Even though you may never know, he's going to help you to defeat that purpose. Once you've come to the realization, which to your point, Gwen did. She came to the realization, I'm probably
After being a
screwing
bad
this
guy
up.
most of the movie.
After having notions about what they should do with Miles, she realizes that she needs to help him. And Hobie realized this the first time he met him. He was like, "This is gonna go bad, but I'm gonna give you all
He
a way
just
to
felt
help."
bad because his girlfriend's toothbrush was at his house.
Probably so. There's
That's all that
no
was.
doubt he wasn't tapping Gwen on that.
That was just a weird comment. I was like, "Oh snap!"
You left my toothbrush at the house.
I liked I guess when they went to that other little world, I'm trying to remember. I think it was another Spider-Man, but it was this guy Jake Johnson who's on the show called New Girl that I like.
Yeah, that's the Peter Parker.
Yeah,
That was in the first one.
I loved his voice. I mean, I like that guy's voice. Right when I heard him when he was yelling, I was like, "Oh my god, that's the guy from New Girl."
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and point out three more things that I didn't like about this movie.
So let me ask this,
Hold
because we
on.
haven't liked it though. We haven't said this. Did you like it though?
Generally speaking, I like the movie.
Okay.
But considering I gave the first one a 10,
Mhm.
and it's by far the best superhero movie ever made, in my opinion.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Definitely talked.
And it came out the same year as what? Endgame?
Endgame, and I think I
was like, no, this is the 10. Endgame is
I caught flack for it on our show, Vagabond Nerds.
Shout out.
I caught flack for it for saying that's the best movie of the year, and they're like, Endgame came out, and I'm like, I did not stutter. Like
yeah.
I'm telling you right now, Into the Spider-Verse was the best one.
So I did like it, and yes, I would recommend people to see it. But one is a big problem. But let's talk about the other cool thing about the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
All the different Spider-Men, but all of their uniqueness, like even the different art styles, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way they drew. I didn't get enough of that in this one. Like there was a bunch of different Spider-Men, but the first one had like very unique art styles to every single one that was on screen for most of the time, right? And they all popped up back at the end. I was like, oh, okay, I'm pumped, right? Crunk, right? Cool. The graphics were better, but I didn't like them as much. The first one had a more abstract kind of feel to it. This one, like the people had more realistic features, like their face and stuff. And I was like, it's better quality, but I'm not feeling this. So it's not that it was bad, but I'm just like, it just made the movie have a different feel, almost like a Pixar movie. Just the face.
I would say, with the exception of
Just the face.
with the exception of the museum, where they did it in almost a Leonardo, not DiCaprio, but Da Vinci style, with the type of paper, the type of art, and everything else. It was very. God, that was probably my favorite scene, is seeing it done in that art style, which is far from what you're talking about, because I do believe what you're talking about is pretty much when they get into the future with Spider-Man 2099, and they're in Nueva York. That's where you're talking about, where it started. It was definitely... It was cleaner, it was sharper, but did it come at a loss of what they had done before?
Yeah. I mean, even towards the middle, because they spent 30 minutes on Gwen, when they were going to the party, right, for the dad, like, it was just so many people there, just normal people. And it just kind of, I was like, I wasn't feeling it.
So that's two.
Now, the last thing is, and this is going to be my hot take, for this is the quote of the day.
No, we just had that in the last round.
No, my quote of the day.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
It had Matrix Reloaded vibes. It had Matrix Reloaded vibes.
Are you talking about specifically because of the ending?
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, it was big hype. Matrix Reloaded had big hype, right? Oh, Matrix 2, right? Oh, perfect movie. And now we're making another one, right? Big hype going in, and then the movie starts, and then let's create all these different worlds, right? And build up, and credits.
So, did you get any feedback in your theater when that happened?
I don't think it was a bunch of people there.
No, it wasn't.
No.
So our theater was jam-packed.
Yeah.
Jam-packed. Probably a 6, 7, or 8-year-old kid. To be continued.
What the fuck is that? Hey,
and I was like, wow. And we're all kind of chuckling. Because we're like, wow. But yeah, I get that. I felt that.
Yeah.
I mean, because not only was the whole movie slowly building up, right? At the end, it started really ramping up and building up to like something's about to happen.
Once again,
it's about to go down.
It did the same thing it did to start it. It was 30 minutes on something completely different that we hadn't seen in the middle. And now it was, with that reveal at the end. It's one thing I don't want to spoil in case you haven't seen it. But
okay, we won't do it. Let's not do it. But there's a big twist at the end.
With that twist at the end, it was one of those, oh my God, I want to watch, like, don't stop it now. And of course, it's to be continued.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how it does, because everyone was like, oh, they made them at the same time. Number one, no, they didn't.
Which ones?
They were
1 and
saying
2 or 2 and 3?
2 and 3.
Okay.
So the next one's Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And there was like, oh, it'll come out next year, and that's what we kept hearing. But they're like, well, actually, because of how we do this process, Lord and Miller, who are the directors,
shout out.
I'll call you guys later.
Yeah.
How they do that is, as the artist would say, they're like, it's not like a Disney production where you do it and they're rushing and everything else. But what they do have is they'll watch it, and they'll watch the pre-animation, which is still actually a lot of work to do because you're still seeing moving pictures and everything else. And then they'll say, we're not feeling it this way. Do it this way and let's try it. And so they are not close. The first thing was like, well, 2024, and Lord and Miller came out and they're like, try 2025. We're not prepared to do this, but we know the storyline, we know where it's going, but we want to give the same art style that we've been giving these past two, and we want to continue that. So it's going to be a minute, and then you had the writer strike. So you can't really change anything right now. Then you got the actor strike. So what about your voice actors? Could very well be 2026.
I'll be a scab. I'll do it.
You'll do it?
Yeah. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
That's not my Batman.
Eh.
So, all in all, I loved it. It was hard for me to say it wasn't worse than the first one. I don't necessarily know if it was as good as the first one, but for me, it was right there on par. I really enjoyed the movie.
Which one was it? Wait, hold on, I got a button for that.
Huh?
Talking
So
about
it's not worse.
it's not worse. I don't
but
think it's better.
But it's not as good.
I think it's just as good.
That ain't what you said. We gotta go. We gotta rewind the tape.
We'll rewind the tape. But I do think it's just as good. It's just not better. It's just not worse. It's its own thing. As you point into the mic. Yeah, I know. So that's my take on
What
it.
you got?
I liked it. I do agree it was not as good as the first one,
But not as good as the first one. I'm gonna go yeah.
but I like Spider-Gwen.
No, don't get me wrong. Like I said, this is not a knock on her
No, I know.
or the character. It was
No, I know, but there's something about her when I see
the
her.
movie.
Because I had the same feeling in the first one. Like, I just think she is adorable. And so I was like, oh. So I didn't notice it until you said it, that they focus more on her. Like, I didn't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched it and I was like, I liked it.
This is how I saw it. Miles
In the
Morales.
theater,
Miles
packed
Morales.
theater,
Hysterical.
with cursing
Miles
little
Morales
kids, badass kids.
sat there, and it was a picture of him. They knew they had to give Gwen more of a backstory, but they weren't going to dedicate a full movie to her either.
Yeah.
So for 30 minutes, just how people that are younger, just how people that are of mixed race or mixed family or whatever felt watching Miles get on there and represent them. I think those little girls or those individuals who felt like you did with Spider-Gwen, they got their 30 minutes with their character.
Yeah.
It did catch me off guard. I didn't realize, again, to your point, I'm 30 minutes in, and then it says Into the Spider-Verse, and then we go to Miles. I'm like, oh crap, I forgot we had
30 minutes.
Didn't even realize we hadn't had a opening scene.
30 minutes
No.
into the movie, you
Credits.
get the end credits from the first movie.
Pretty much.
30 minutes into the movie, you
Yep.
get the end credits from the first movie.
Mm.
WTF.
But that's you. I didn't feel that I missed anything. I just thought, oh my God, we've spent all this time with her. We haven't even gotten to Miles
Well,
yet.
but that could be the problem or with the limitations of animation versus live action.
Possibly.
Because if this was live action, they 100% give her own movie.
Yeah.
100%.
for sure.
Like, it's not even a question.
But let's not forget, that's probably coming.
Yeah,
That's
but
gotta
yeah,
be coming.
but just speaking of,
So Sony
what we do have versus what we,
Sony is still a studio. They're still going to milk this cash cow for all of its worth.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
but you didn't like it as much as the first one, but you still liked it.
Yeah. I like the relationship Miles has with his parents. Like, it makes me laugh. You know, how they're like sitting in the office with the counselor or whatever it is, school counselor, and I don't know. I just like that dynamic between them.
as
But
a parent, it's one of my favorite parts.
really,
One of my favorite parts.
yeah. And
because you can see you telling your child the stuff they were telling them.
yeah, and I just like the dynamic between him and Gwen, and I don't know. I liked it. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even notice 30 minutes in and we haven't even got to Miles.
I didn't notice until I saw them pop up, across the Spider-Verse. I'm like, have we not done the opening credits? Like, that was my thing. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But
So what do you think at the end of the day?
Hold on, I had a joke, but I couldn't remember the person's name.
Oh,
I'm Googling.
now you sound like me.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna start calling her Diane Lane. I'm not calling her Gwen no more.
Why?
She's unfaithful.
Oh, that was a good movie.
wow.
Do we really want Miles to turn into Richard Gere?
Well, no, but for
Do we really want that?
no, but for
Is that what
multiple
we want?
reasons.
Is that what we want?
So what'd you think?
Because we know what he did. We know what he did to end that movie.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in real life with the gerbil. But continue.
No. Like I said, well, I mean, I feel like I went through all of the stuff that I didn't like about the movie, which is going to lower my score that I didn't officially score.
So
right?
what would be your score if you had officially scored?
Probably an 8.
Mm.
Like I said, I'm not in no way saying it's a bad movie. I'm in no way saying I don't like Gwen. I don't like her character.
You just loved that first one so much.
Actually, out of all, like, generally speaking, I think I like her and her costume the best out of everybody. Maybe not just in the movie, but just what we've been seeing over the past 4 or 5 years. She becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Spider-Gwen is dope.
Yeah. Spider-Gwen's dope.
You know what I'm saying?
I made the mask for my daughter when she wanted to cosplay at one of the comic book conventions
Shout out.
as Gwen. She takes that mask everywhere with her, even at this age. But yeah, I say that to say love Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
So, like I said, no way am I trying to say that it's a bad movie or that I don't like her. It's just not as good as to me. It's not as good as the first one. And the fact I don't think, even if they didn't have some of the stuff that I didn't like, but they still did the ending like that, I still don't think you could ever make it as good as the first one, because there was no conclusion.
I will tell you
There was no conclusion to this movie.
I'll tell you one of the things that I loved, and I mean loved about the first one, was one of the few times that I'd seen someone earn their costume to put on. When you're going through that first one and he's putting on the costume for the first time, it feels earned. It feels that it was a natural progression of the story, like everything. I still get goosebumps watching that, listening to that song, and him realizing I'm gonna be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing like anything that's come before. This movie had a bar so high that to come close to it would be awesome. And for me, it came close to it. Again, I don't think it's worse. I just don't think it's better. And I know that's weird. So if I was rating it, right, you're not wrong. First one's a 10, but this has got to be like a 9.9. That's how I feel about this one. I don't know how you wrap this up. I don't know what the expectations are for
now.
What
I will say, which is not fair, right? You wouldn't normally do this, but there is a way that you could wrap this up, make it dope, and I can say that as a whole arc, as the kids call it now, or these last two movies as a saga, was better than the first movie. You might can get me on that depending on how the third movie is, but as of right now, it's just like no ending.
It's gonna be hard to do, and I think we found that out with the Dark Knight trilogy.
I mean, I think is it gonna be all okay? Here, prediction time. All Spider-Man cameos in the third movie, or is somebody else gonna have to step in to help?
You mean from outside of the Spider? No. I think they keep this strictly with the Spider-Men, Spider-Women.
Because who's helped him so far in the live actions? We Iron Man and Doctor Strange.
You won't get any of that because two reasons. One, Sony wants to keep this about Spider-Man because that's their property for any action, animation, or whatever. That's theirs. That's not MCU. Like, at the end of the day, they license the use of Spider-Man Peter Parker to Disney, and Disney pays them. And two, Sony would not pay for the amount of money that it would cost them to. But it's
not just Spider-Man though.
Won't matter.
It's a whole Spider-Man universe, right? Like Venoms and all this other stuff.
Yes, and they absolutely could. And we even got the Venom universe in this movie. They even did a nod to the Tom Hardy Venom.
So what other good guys do we have?
I think it's
Spider-Man.
I think it's just sticking here. I don't think there's anything else.
I'm just to go opposite. Not because I disagree, but
Sound like you're disagreeing.
No, I'm gonna go for we will see something. Somebody else.
So I'm gonna go how about this? I'm right in the middle. We're gonna see something, but it might not be the solution to the problem.
More of just a cameo nod. That could be possible.
Yeah.
That could be. I don't think we will. I think they'll stick to just this, and I think with the way it ended, you're gonna have a feel of that first movie again. I do think that.
I do want to rewatch this. So if you could bust open that.
You can't do that. You got digital.
Yeah, we could watch it on, but this one I kind of want to open because
something's loose in that. That's a disc.
But yeah, we could wait. Where's the streaming at though? This is Sony stuff, right? Is it streaming? It's not streaming on Disney.
No, but I think Vudu has it on sale right now.
Vudu. Oh, you want me to go
for $9 on digital?
I bought two. I'm not buying another. No, we can open this one.
Okay, the raggedy one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you gave your official score. I gave mine. What would you score this, and would you recommend somebody to go see it?
I was thinking like an 8.8
Okay.
in my head when we came into this, and I would definitely recommend.
CD Lamb.
That's right.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend watching this.
Yeah, and just for the record, yes, I would definitely recommend this to people. Go watch it.
I thought you were going to recommend CD and Lamb. I would too, especially if you got a fantasy league spot open.
Does that mean time to wrap up?
That's probably time. To
Yep,
wrap up.
probably.
Yeah. It was,
I'm starting to
We've
talk
gone to
sports.
fantasy football.
Talking about sports.
So, talking sports.
We've lost everybody.
You got your stuff ready? I'm calling you out.
I'm
Wow.
ready.
Remember what we did last time?
I remember how we opened it.
Well, I remember she was ready. She was in this. We try to keep it too professional here. All right, y'all ready?
Yes. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for listening to ANX Gamecast. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we release new episodes. See you next week.
Deuces.
Spider-Gwen's unfaithful. Oh. And I'm Batman.
No, you're not.